Folks, sorry about that. We're just trying to figure out our Facebook Live situation. We got that situated. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to see all 16 or 14 of you. My name is Jessica Graham. I am the program manager here at GSA. We're so excited to have you. Joining us is Dr. Brittany Benningfield, excuse me, tongue-tied. But we are so excited to have you today. If you want to, in the chat, if you'll drop where you guys are coming from today, your name and what county you're in right now. If you want to, you don't have to if you don't want to. Oh, the chat is disabled. You are right. Let me turn that on. Thank you. All right. Everyone should be able to see. Let's see here. All right. Thank you for correcting that. I appreciate that. All right. Everyone should be able to chat now. If you can. Drop it in the chat. Hi, Caroline from Rowan County. Hi, Henry from McCracken, Reagan from Campbell, Lindsay from Kenton, Maddie from Jefferson, awesome. Nona from Jefferson as well. Hello, Katie from Kenton. All right. Natalie from Campbell. Great. Anybody else? All right. Excellent. And Reese from Mason. Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. We're so excited to have you today. Again, my name is Jessica Graham. I'm the GSA program manager. We have Dr. Brittany Benningfield with us. She is our vocal music chair and currently and in the past, she's also been our faculty liaison. She has done every GSA role that there can be, has been, and she is the expert GSA queen. If I could give her a crown, I would give her one. We're so excited to have y'all today with us and to talk about GSA. I'm going to launch a poll real quick and just going to ask you a few questions. If you'll answer them. All right. So it talks about mostly about like what best describes you. You know, we love getting every type of participant with us. What art form you're interested in, if it's different, multiple ones, if you've attended a GSA info session yet, and if you've applied to GSA before. Kind of questions. All right. We'll give everyone a couple more minutes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. So it looks like we got mostly our high school students, 10th or 11th grade. Great, we're so excited to have you. Parent guardians, all right, excellent. And then we have another other, which is great. We have students who are interested in creative writing, drama, musical theater, and vocal music, as we hope, which is okay that there's other people here as well. We love that. And then we've got, most of you haven't attended a GSA 101 session. We definitely suggest that if you have the time to do that. And if you don't have the time, we also have all those recordings available for you guys to view on our YouTube channel. Those are really important. They've got really great information and yeah, all that good stuff. And then everybody's new GSA applicants. That's very exciting. All right, awesome. So Dr. Benningfield, tell us about your experience with GSA.
Oh, start at the very beginning.
Yes.
Let's see. Long story, very short. From LaRue County, Kentucky, city seat Hodgenville, Kentucky, birthplace of Abraham Lincoln. And for the first 16 years of my life, I wanted to be a country music singer. Then my high school guidance counselor said, "Hey, do you know what Governor's School for the Arts is?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, we think you should apply." And I said, "Okay." So I had been taking voice lessons, not seriously, but I'd been taking voice lessons for about 3 months at the time. Worked on a piece just for this audition. Um, Sang it at the audition, didn't really think anything more about it, and then got accepted. And from the minute I stepped into GSA's world, I knew that my life was going to change for the better. So after 3 weeks, I left governor school knowing that I was going to be an opera singer, knowing that I was going to go into music education in some form, and that I was going to come back and work at governor school. So thankfully and luckily and beyond all blessings, I've been able to do all those things. But literally, I tell this to everybody, if it wasn't for GSA, I would not be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be owning my private studio. I wouldn't be a doctor in music. Definitely wouldn't be running the vocal area of this if it hadn't been for this program. And I wouldn't have met all the amazing people that are GSA vocal music alums who are now out singing and making the bukus of money doing this art form that I didn't even know existed before I was 16 years old. So it's completely life-changing. Every job I've ever had, I tell them that there are 3 weeks in the summer that I must not work because governor school is that important to me. So yeah, to say it's life-changing is kind of an understatement. It's what I do. It's what I live for, and I'm excited to share the joy with other hopefuls tonight.
It's wonderful. Well, thank you, Brittany. Those are amazing statements that you just made. We appreciate that. And as also, I forgot to mention, I'm also a GSA alumni. I went to GSA for drama. So I know for me, it was also life-changing. And I think that's a major statement that most GSA alumni say. So it's a great time. So we are going to talk a little bit about, we just had Brittany introduce herself. We're going to have time for a Q&A at the end of today's presentation. So feel free to use the Q&A feature in Zoom to ask your questions. Please don't drop them in the chat. And if you're joining us via Zoom, please, you'll receive a survey at the end of today's session. This survey helps GSA figure out how well we're recruiting and if, what we can do to better improve our recruiting efforts. So please take a moment to fill out that survey at the end of this. And if you're not already aware, today's session is part of a larger series of virtual info sessions that we host throughout the autumn for applicants, parents, and educators. We hope that you'll take time to take advantage of these many resources and learn more, ask questions, and connect with us through GSA. This is kind of our timeline that we've got coming up. Like I said, we have those GSA 101 webinars. We've got November 14th and December 1st coming up. So you can sign up for those webinars. We'll also stream it live to Facebook. And then we'll also upload them after they're recorded to our YouTube. So those are great resources, highly suggest viewing those. We did open our application portal October 6th, and then we also have our applicant guides and our application walkthrough video available. So highly suggest viewing those, especially the applicant guide that tells you, what you need to do for your videos, your essays, not your surveys, even though you do have to do a survey, you need to do an essay and your videos for that. And then throughout this, until November 18th, we will be doing our art form specific webinars that we're currently working on, kind of like this one. Our next one coming up is drama, which I'm also hosting. So good stuff. All right. Typically, those will take place at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Those videos. And remember, these information sessions are not the only way to get information about GSA application process. You can contact us, GSA in our office, through the helpline, as you can see the phone number there at the top, and then also at our GSA info at email address, and then of course through Facebook and through Instagram. We are on the webs. We are not scary adults. We love answering your questions. We're here for you. We want to see you succeed. It's part of the joy of my job is getting to talk to students, to parents, to educators who just have all kinds of questions, tons of questions. We are here to support you and to advocate for you as young artists. And then also, if you want to, you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well. All right. So let's review some more information about the summer program itself before we dive into vocal music. So it is a 3-week summer program, but now we have 2 of those sessions. You can attend one of them for vocal music. It is a program that is on for high school age students. We are on University of Kentucky's campus, which is a great resource for us. Students attend GSA for 1 of 9 art forms. And the program is completely tuition free, which is really important. It was important for me as a student, so I'm happy to say that we are still tuition free. Not that that is going to change anytime soon. Students are immersed in an intense, challenging, and exhilarating learning environment. And 1 of 9 art forms, and of course, vocal music is one of them. And while each student focuses on one art form they are attending for, we do have a lot of interdisciplinary crossover. So for example, vocal music works a lot with the instrumental music students. Is that correct? Yes.
Absolutely.
Good. Awesome. And so, you'll get to work with all kinds of different art forms. You'll take different workshop classes with different art forms. So even if you just go for vocal music, you get to experience all of art forms as much as possible within GSA. And if you haven't heard, of course, because we're having 2 3-week sessions, that means we get to accept more students. Last year we accepted over 512 students, thanks to supplemental funding provided by the Department of Education. So, yay. All the good stuff. Now, items to note that you have to be a sophomore or a junior to apply to GSA. Your GPA, ACT, and SAT scores do not matter to us. We don't ask for those, so don't have to stress about that. You can apply up to 2 art forms. So for those of you who are interested in both vocal music, creative writing, musical theater, all that fun stuff, you can apply to multiple art forms. But note that if you do apply for 2 art forms, there is a slight additional fee cost. So for example, if you apply to 1 art form, it's only $30 to apply. And then if you applied for 2 art forms, it is $35 total. But there is also a fee. The fee can be waived for those students who qualify for free and reduced lunch. All right. And then we are, again, so thrilled to talk with you today about vocal music with Dr. Benningfield. We're confident today's session will be helpful, but remember, it may not be 100% comprehensive, and there are very important resources that you should utilize to learn more about the program and the application, all of which are available on our website. So that's the link, or the visual to the website right there, KentuckyGSA.org, with Kentucky spelled out. Definitely read the applicant guide. That is your key. That is your golden key to figuring out what all you need to do for this wonderful applicant. And start preparing your materials early. And you can go ahead, for our first part of the application is just filling out your name, your phone number, your address, and your recommenders, and that's it. And then you're done on to the next part of the application. Second part of the application is a little bit more complicated, but not terrible. But just definitely very carefully review those documents, that applicant guide. Again, golden key for you. All right. And then we're going to take a quick look at our deadlines. January 8th is our GSA 2023 application deadline. That means it is a Sunday, and GSA is closed on the weekends, the office is. So that means January 6th is the last day to call or email us with questions. So don't wait until the very last minute to upload your application, if at all possible. The system will run inherently slow with all the applicants turning in last minute. So we recommend completing your application and turning it in 1 week in advance of that January 8th date. Students will learn if they've advanced to the second and final round on February 17th, about 1 month before the final round auditions / reviews take place on March 17th and 18th. Those reviews are going to be held on the University of Kentucky's campus. Especially if it's vocal music. Some art forms are going to be virtual still this year. Full details will be in each applicant guide. And as COVID-19 grows and changes and all that fun stuff, we'll let everybody know any changes that arise. we will announce the 2023, excuse me. I think my screen went funny. I apologize. I clicked a button. How dare I move my mouse? All right. What's the screen you can see, Brittany?
It says, welcome. We'll get started in just a few minutes.
Okay, great. Let me.
Now they're moving.
There we go. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. Where was I at? I was at the April. So we'll announce our 2023 class on April 14th. And then our GSA dates for the final sessions are session 1 is June 11th to July 1st. And session 2 is July 9th to July 29th. A question that we get often in the info app box and on our phone calls is if students can choose their sessions. If you make it to the finalist round, you get to specify which session you prefer. We try to honor that request, but we cannot guarantee that. Just like to keep note of that. So, all right. And as that was my last slide, and of course, you know, it changed up on me. I'm going to do a, we're going to pull up the applicant guide now. All right. So the good stuff, the meaty bits, the vocal music applicant guide. All right. Scroll down a little bit. All right. So the program description. Brittany, would you like to talk a little bit about the vocal music program and what it's like as a GSA student to go through the music program?
Yes, absolutely. So the first thing that I want to mention when we're talking about the program description, we like to have fun while also learning. So our faculty, we have been told we are the loudest. We have been told we laugh the most. Mm-hmm. We have been told all of these things, right? I will say this. We have faculty members that have been teaching for 35 years. Wait, how long did you say been around? Not 35.
35 years.
35 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So this coming summer would be 35 years, 20 years for some other person, like 15 for another one. I'm just 38, and somehow I've been involved with this program for like 20 total years.
Yes.
So when I tell you that vocal music has a long line of faculty who love this program so much that we come back summer after summer after summer after summer to work with you all, I mean it. Like, we have a good time. We love what we do. Our students are out doing phenomenal things, and most of them will tell you GSA made an impact on them to get to where they are now. So understand that we like to have a good time. Now, that being said, we're going to get a lot of work done. And one of the things that I want to make sure you all know is that when we say Governor School is an intensive, I want you to understand what an intensive actually is. So an average day, we would start class 10 in the morning. And then it's class, different kinds of classes. We can get into those later. Until lunchtime, which generally is one-ish. Okay. Then there's a lunch break. We go back at it from 2 till 6. Then you think your day's over. Day's not over. And the evenings, you either go to a all-school performance, which is amazing, and you get to see all these wonderful artists for free, or we go back to studio for 3 more hours. So when we tell you all it's an intensive, I am not kidding. I personally don't think that it's absolutely ridiculous. I do think that the first week can be challenging. So one of the best things for you to understand as somebody who is thinking about applying or is planning to apply or has already applied is just to understand this is not a day at school like the schools that you have right now. It's not that. Some people say it's a trade-off because, yeah, we're there longer, but it's doing all the things we want to do, which is like choir and voice lessons and music and singing and fun all day. So, it's kind of a trade-off, but it's a lot. It's a lot. We do a lot in 3 weeks. And I would say 98% of the students who come out of vocal music love it so much that they try to come back and do more afterwards. So just understand, these are long days. We have so much to do in 3 weeks, but it's going to fly by. You are going to have so much fun, and you are going to learn, and make lifelong connections. So, kind of a trade-off. The other thing that I want to make sure we know, this is what I want to make sure we know. If you are interested in stuff like The Voice or American Idol or anything like that, this is not geared towards that style of singing. So if you look in the program description here, we have private voice lessons, group ensembles, wide range of vocal music styles from Renaissance to 21st century with a strong emphasis on classical technique. Classical technique is kind of like what you get in choir. And if you've ever had a voice lesson, it's kind of like what you get in a voice lesson. So when I'm talking to people outside of vocal music, I talk about like dancers. Like dancers take ballet so that they know how to do technique. Then they take other things, or they're taking other things at the same time they're doing ballet. This is the ballet of singing. So we're talking about posture, we're talking about breathing, we're talking about vowel shapes. You're getting introduced to opera arias, art forms, some legit musical theater, but you're not going to sing it. We might talk about it, but you're not going to sing it. That's what musical theater is for. This is more choral music, solo voice, solo and ensemble type things. This is the area that we're looking for with this. Now, that's not saying that if you have interest in doing stuff like The Voice or American Idol or something like that, that you're not going to enjoy this. Because what you're going to get here are free voice lessons, which the technique you're going to get is going to help you sing whatever style you want to sing. I consider myself an opera singer, but I still go out and sing country and rock and gospel and all that kind of stuff too, because I know how to do the technique. That allows me to sing everything I want to sing, healthfully, so that I don't wreck my voice. Very important. So even if you are thinking about doing something that's a little bit more pop rock, this would still benefit you, but I want you to understand that going into it, I'm not going to assign you a Carrie Underwood song to work on. You're going to get something that we would consider a more classical style so that you can start learning technique. Those are the two biggest things I want to make sure that we understand with this. Other than that, it's just good time. 3 weeks, you get free classes, free master classes, free choir, free voice lessons, free pianists. Pianists, this is probably the only time you'll ever be able to work with a live accompanist for free. Probably the only time. We'll also introduce you to people at different colleges around the area. We usually always have somebody come in from the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, Indiana University, University of Kentucky, University of Louisville, Northern Kentucky University, Western Kentucky University, DePaul in Indiana sometimes is able to come down. So you're going to meet all kinds of people that you might not be able to meet otherwise. And again, for free. You get to sing and work with these people. Okay. We also bring back alumni to come back and do alumni master classes. So you get to hear those who have come before come back and show off all the great things they've been doing since before this summer. For example, this past summer, we had one of our former students come back who has sang at the Metropolitan Opera, has won the Metropolitan Opera National Council auditions. He's now over in Germany, singing opera in Germany and being amazing. And it was just so cool to see that come back. It was awesome. So it's just, good time. We're going to have large time. You're going to learn a lot. That's about it.
That's great. Wonderful. I mean, I'm sold on the program already and I can't even go through it.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to talk about the preliminary round requirements a little bit. Again, these are due January 8th, but ideally you want to get these in a week before. So within this, you're going to submit the following. You're going to submit 2 recommendation forms. Again, this is you submitting somebody else's email. We do have I'll talk a little bit about what kind of recommenders we suggest here in a minute, but you're going to submit their emails and they're going to fill out these forms. So you're going to have them submit 2 recommendation forms. You're going to submit a personal short essay, personal question video. We're going to have art form specific questions that we will go over within this presentation, and then a prepared solo video that will also go over in this presentation. So the recommendation forms, things have changed a little bit over the years. This time we are asking for recommenders that it doesn't have to be a teacher or school administrator. And now we've broadened the scope of these recommenders request. Let's see here, let me pull it up. So I'm speaking to what the applicant guide says, because it is the golden key. If you select 2 recommenders who speak to your artistic abilities, we encourage you to do so. Not everybody applicant has 1 or 2 recommenders that have experienced the student's artistry. In this case, we suggest that you submit recommenders who speak to your character, accountability, and or work ethic. They can be teachers, guidance counselors, school administrators, mentors, people involved in your community, like a coach, youth minister, or a staff in an organization at which you volunteer. So hopefully that clears up a few things. At the end of this presentation, if you have any more questions about that, feel free to ask. And then you want to definitely tell them before you put their email down as a recommender that you are going to, ask if you can put them down as a recommender for GSA. And then you should definitely confirm the email address before you put it down, because we'll get a bounce back, and your application will be incomplete if the email address is incorrect. So definitely double check, triple check, make sure the .coms, .orgs, all of that fun stuff is all correct. So once you've got that portion, the recommenders will get an email from us that says, we need the recommendation form filled out, and they have to fill it out before January 8th. And then once you've submitted all that fun stuff, you'll move on to application part 2. And we'll bypass some of this fun stuff. You're gonna submit your personal, a short essay there. It's about 250 words max. They're very basic. The question is, how can/why should the art form you're applying in be of importance to your community or society as a whole? Which is a great question. And then we also have a personal question video, which is, why is the art form you're applying in important to you? What are your goals for yourself as an artist in this art form? And both of these questions, you definitely want to be authentic, open, honest. We want to get to know you as a student and kind of know about you and your artistry and your passion behind this. Of course, state your name first and last. Kind of a basic shot, even kind of what we are right now. We want to just kind of clear, no background behind you. We want to focus on you and all the fun stuff that you have to say, and all that great stuff. So our art form specific questions. Brittany, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, sure thing. All right, so with these art form specific questions, what we're looking for is just you to answer some questions about the art. Like it's not rocket science here. You can read the questions there. Let us know what you know, not what you think we want to hear. Okay. Number 1, we're going to know if you're fibbing. Number 2, I always, keep in mind, I didn't know anything about opera, whatever, when I applied for this. Okay. All I knew is I liked to sing and I liked meeting new people. That was it. So when I was asked, like, who's your favorite opera singer? The only person I knew and had heard of through choir was Renee Fleming. So I wrote down Renee Fleming because it's literally the only one I knew, right? Then, later on I was asked, well, what do you like about Renee Fleming? And I was able to say, well, I like that she sings high notes. That's just like, I wasn't able to talk about it in grand open terms. It was just, what did I know? What do you know? What do you like about things? What are you interested in? What do you think you can gain from the experience? What do you want to take back from this experience, right? So these kind of questions are solely related to our art form. Choral music, what singers do you like? Do you know what your voice is? Soprano, alto, those kind of things with the art form specific questions. That's about it. Pretty easy.
Yep. Great. And then we'll move on to the prepared solo video.
Yes. Okay. Here's my biggest thing I want to tell you. You do not have to sing in a foreign language. I'm going to say that again. You do not have to sing in a foreign language. If you have never sung in Italian, in German, French, if you have sung in French, I still wouldn't do it because French is really hard. If you haven't sung in those languages, this is not the time to try it out. Just going to leave that there. Sing in English. find a song in English that you know really well or something that you really, really like. Don't sing a foreign language song unless you feel like you have it down, that language. Again, you're dealing with people who all have doctorates, have all sung everywhere. So if I hear something that is just butchered Italian, when I'm like, okay, I would actually be more willing to hear this person's English song because I wouldn't be distracted by the bad Italian, just sing something in English. Okay? Trust me. Trust me. Just sing something in English. If your voice teacher tells you to do something different, I'm going to leave it there. Okay. Now, if you have sung in Italian, if Italian is something like the 24 Italian art songs, Caro Mio Ben, Alma del Cuore, if you've done those before and you've sung them out in front of people, totally fine. I'm just talking about if you've never sung in a language other than English, this is not the time to try it. Pick something in English, something that really shows off your voice, that you feel really comfy singing, sing that for us. Now, outside of that, right, don't sing an 8-minute aria. I'm not going to listen to it. There's a reason that we have a 2 to 4 minute length here, right? There are lots of singers who are wanting to audition for this. And generally speaking, we know within the first 2 or 3 minutes if this is a program that's going to be right for you or not right for you. So there's no need to do 8 minutes. 2 to 3, 4 tops. 4 tops. Memorized is preferred. It is not required. One of the reasons why we ask for memorization is because your final day piece will be memorized. So if you can already show us that you feel comfortable memorizing a song, then that's going to make us feel better automatically. Okay. Again, best example of your performance without being excessively simple. Selections need not be in a foreign language. Let's say it again, one more time. Your selection should be an art song, folk song, aria, hymn, or musical theater selection from a show written prior to 1970. So if you're wondering what that is, Rodgers and Hammerstein, excellent choice. Some early musicals from the 50s and 60s, also an excellent choice. If you have any question, ask yourself, is it a song my grandmother would like to hear? If it's a song that your grandmother would like to sing or would like to hear you sing, then it's probably right. Probably right. An art song is something like Caro Mio Ben. Or John Jacob Niles writes a bunch of art songs. Roger Quilter is another big art song person. Any of these people that write standalone songs that you probably have studied in voice lessons, that's an art song. A folk song would be something similar to, like some people do Aaron Copland choir pieces, something similar to that, a little bit folksy. Stephen Foster would be folk songs, stuff like that. An aria, be careful with it. Be careful with it. If it's an English aria, like a Handel easy piece or something of that nature, cool. But no, if you show up and you want to sing Caro Nome, Verdi's Caro Nome, which none of y'all should be singing, period. If you show up and want to sing that, just know, we're taking a risk here. We're going to go with it. A hymn is beautiful. We love hymns. Love hymns. You can even sing out of the hymnal. I've got 2 over there on my bookshelf across the way. You can't even see. You can even open a hymnal and sing out of a hymnal. Great. Love it. What we're looking for, though, is just something that you feel like really shows off your singing in a good, healthy way. I don't need to hear your high B flats and I don't need to hear your low B flats in the same song. I want to hear where your voice is happiest, where you feel like you can express what you're singing about, and I can hear your lovely, beautiful voices. That's what I want to hear. That's exactly what I want to hear. If you don't know where to go to find songs, and I understand this can be a problem, especially if we're in a school that maybe doesn't have a choir. I hate that those are still things, but maybe your school doesn't have a choir. Maybe there's not a voice teacher in your area, or maybe we can't afford voice lessons. If you're not really sure where to go to find these kind of songs, if you do have a choir director, your choir director should be able to help you out. If you attend a church somewhere or have friends that maybe go to church, and you can talk to their music director at the church, or maybe their congregation song leader, they might be able to help you find something. You can also find a GSA alum who lives in your area because they've been through this and they have an idea of what we're looking for. So I would imagine that alumni could help with that. But, you know, we don't know, no Lady Gaga, no Rihanna, no rapping, none of that kind of stuff. So we want to be able to hear your actual beautiful, lovely singing voices. Now, talking about certain musical styles. The reason we say this on here is because we don't really hear your singing quality in some of these musical styles. Vocal percussion, rapping, excessive belting. Belting is kind of like a thing. Okay, now I am one of these voice teachers that's like, you can teach belt, it can be done healthfully. However, it's not generally done in the style of music that we're talking about. Going back to my ballet versus jazz talk at the beginning. We don't generally find belting in classical singing. So for you to come in and belt for us as your audition piece, it's not really going to tell us what we're listening for. So something to think about as you're picking your piece. But just if you want to sum it up, something easy that shows off your voice. If you don't sing in a foreign language, don't sing in a foreign language, sing something in English. And if all else fails, go find somebody who has a hymnal and sing Amazing Grace.
Great. Lovely. Great information. Do you want to talk any about the song accompaniment?
Yeah, we can. Yeah. So
yeah.
We is it required to sing with a live pianist? No, not at all. Especially now that COVID has changed some things. There's this wonderful app called Accompanist that has lots of like piano tracks. YouTube is full of them. I sing when I'm practicing by myself. I sing with all kinds of YouTube like piano recordings. You can totally do that. If you don't have access to someone who can play for you, you can find a YouTube recording. Just make sure, like, some songs have a lot of different keys. So just make sure that the YouTube recording you have is the same key as a song you're in. Your choir teacher or church, any person who plays music can tell you that. But if you can't, like, if you can find somebody to play live, find somebody to play live. If you can do that. You may want to offer to buy them a Starbucks, or you may want to offer to come rake their leaves, or you may want to do something like that in return as a thank you for them playing for you. But it is helpful. It will let us know if you're able to sing along with a live pianist. It shows collaboration skills, all these wonderful things that if you were to pursue singing in the future, things you would need to know how to do. So that's why we ask for that. But 100%, if you can't find a live person, do not worry. Find a little karaoke track, find a little piano track, sing along with that.
All right, perfect. So next up is our final round requirements. We actually won't touch base on these today, but we highly suggest you review them once you make it to the final round, and that'll answer all your fun questions for that. All right, criteria. So Brittany, do you want to talk about criteria?
Yeah, let's talk about this stuff. So this is what we're looking for in your video. Okay, this is the stuff we're looking for. So when we talk about tone production, what that means in a nutshell is, what does your voice sound like? Is it breathy? Is it kind of pinched? Do you have vibrato? Do you not have vibrato? Do we even know what vibrato is? Not important. But what does your tone sound like? Okay, that's one of the things we're talking about here. Rhythm and tempo, can you stay in the beat? That's what rhythm and tempo is. If your song starts on beat 1, do you come in on beat 1? That kind of thing. Musicality. Now, it would be cool if when you were singing, you did a little expression. Maybe some dynamics, or maybe some acting. Some things like that. That would be really cool. And it's also a lot more fun to sing when you involve those things. Coming from a singer, it's much more fun. Diction and articulation. Can we understand you when you're singing? Is literally what that is. And I hearken back to the don't sing in a foreign language unless you have to. Because we will know. And then the dedication to the art form, growth, and community. Now, that actually is a pretty big deal. And for me, someone who is a GSA alum and someone who has come back and worked and continues to speak out about this program, this is a big deal. Why are you coming to Governor School? Do you want to learn how to be a better singer and do something good with that? Or do you want to learn how to be a better singer just so you can go back to school and brag to your friends next year about what you did this summer? Right? We are looking for the people who want to take their voice and what they've learned and go out and do things that are going to help their community and in turn help themselves. So one of my favorite things, I know there are so many GSA alums who go back to their community and start their own little performance things. They plan their own recitals. They do all kinds of things like that. They sing at nursing homes, wonderful things like this, right? This is not just about you. This needs to be bigger than just about you. Yes, you'll be the one to experience it. And yes, you're going to be the one that learns from it. But it does us no good to hold all that in when we could be taking all that love and learning and stuff like that and be sharing it with others. So let us know why you want to do this. A little hint, the more detailed you are, the better. So if you have an idea, okay, I want to go to GSA because I want to learn how to sing, but also because I want to go back and sing for a nursing home. That's cool. That's really specific. Like you have an idea, even if you don't necessarily wind up doing it, you have an idea. It's something that you could do with your art form. But just, I want to come to GSA because I like to sing. Well, okay, but what can you do beyond that? And then do you want me to talk about sight singing since it's final round?
No, we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, okay. None of that.
I will say that, that last criteria is a great reflection of one of the essay questions that we ask. So that's a great place to kind of put that information there for your adjudicators to see. And so now we're going to move on to tips. I wonder what this tip is going to be about.
Foreign language.
Foreign language.
There's a reason we mentioned this several times. You do not have to do it. There have been so many people who have bombed because they did not know the languages. They did not know the languages. It is not that important. Sing something you know in a language you understand. Please. You'll do yourself a big favor that way. The focus on finding the best qualities of your voice. Okay. So we've had several people come in the past and they sing these huge arias that they should not be singing at all, but their voice teacher or their choir director or their aunt from down the way told them, oh, I really like this aria, you should learn it. And so they learn it, but they don't sing it well. Okay? Sing something that will show off what you do really well right now, not what you're going to do well in 5 years. Do what you do well right now. If you know right now that from middle C to the C above that is your good area, sing a song right there. We don't need to hear your high B flats and high Cs. There's plenty of time for that. Sing where your voice is happy and find a song that you like. We will know if it's a song you don't like. Find a song that you like that allows you to show your expression, allows us to see who you are as an individual and as a performer. Sing those kind of songs. Highlight the best qualities of your voice and the best qualities of you. Now be prepared to explain why and how you chose your audition piece. If I am in the audition with you and I ask you, oh, I really like this song, how did you find it? Be ready to say, oh, my choir teacher helped me find it, or my voice teacher helped me find it, or I talked to a friend who was a GSA alum and they helped me pick it out. Like, just be ready to say a little bit of something about how you found that song. Make sure that you're prepared to explain a translation or give a brief synopsis of the events described in the song. That's particularly if you're singing in Italian. So if you're singing in Italian and you're singing about Caro mio ben and it's a love song, and I ask you, what's Caro mio ben about? And you go, I don't know. I'm going to know that you didn't really know what you were singing about, which is a big no-no for singers. We always want to know what we're singing about, regardless of the language it's in. Develop expressiveness and passion. So it's so much more fun to see people act and do things when they're now not crazy. Don't go crazy. This isn't, again, our friends musical theater down the road. This isn't that. But usually your face, you can use a little bit of your arms, your hands a little bit. Show us what you're singing about here. We want to see it in your face. Good intonation. Sing on pitch. Helps a lot. You can practice sight singing. We're definitely not going to do that in this first round, but it helps. in life in general. And then mock auditions, even if you're making videos, if you're submitting videos, which is first round is, I tell you, it actually helps if you have somebody in the room, believe it or not, because you're singing in front of someone. You're going to be doing that in the final round. You're going to be singing in front of someone. So if you can have one person, it doesn't have to be your parents. I hated singing in front of my parents when I was in high school. If it's your granny, if it's your best friend, have them sitting there while you're making your video. Okay. Wear professional clothing. Okay. Now here's the deal with this. We want you to dress professionally, but comfortably in a way that matches how you want to present yourself. Okay. So professionally generally means no jeans, generally means no tennis shoes, generally means no shirts with holes in them, stuff like that. Okay. Anything that you would wear to the gym or to the rodeo, we're going to say not to wear for the auditions if you can't. If you can't. No, if it's a thing of I don't own any dress clothes, all I wear is my Wranglers because I ride horses. Put on your nicest pair of Wranglers. Wear a nice button down, maybe even iron it. Something that's going to present yourself well, that you're not going to feel weird in like that. Finalist audition.
Yeah, most of the other stuff is kind of more pertaining to, I think, the finalist.
Okay, cool.
Round. So, but yeah, no, I think this is a kind of a good pausing point. If you guys want to start putting in your questions in the Q&A, we'd be happy to answer any of those. I will read them out loud to Brittany and have Brittany answer them if you have any questions. And you could be also questions for me as a GSA administrator, and then any questions for Brittany. I guess as we're waiting for that questions, Brittany, I'm going to ask you this question. What's your advice to someone who is on the fence about applying to GSA?
My advice is to apply. Even if you're on the fence about it, apply. You know, if you apply, you got a 50-50 chance of getting in, right? You either will or you won't. If you don't apply, you have a 100% chance of not getting in because you didn't apply. So always apply. It's a free application. Just check that box, free application. The most it might cost you is gas to get to wherever you're recording, unless you're recording in your house. You don't have to worry about that. Or if you're paying somebody to play for you, that might cost a little something. But other than that, make your little video, throw it right into the audition box. Just go ahead and submit it's not going to hurt you. Go ahead and submit it. Rip that Band-Aid off and just go ahead and submit. The program is so wonderful. I would never tell someone not to apply. Never.
Perfect. Thank you. We have one question from Natalie. For opera, do you take into account the different voice types when judging?
So let's talk. That's a really, really good question. So the wonderful thing, and I think I understand your question, Natalie. So if I don't truly answer it, get back in there. But since we now have 2 sessions, we're able to take twice as many singers. So that is particularly important when it comes to the female voices, the women voices, because we always have 1 million sopranos and we always have 500,000 altos, right? When there was just 1 session, we had to be really specific about who we took. So if you have a higher voice, if you're a treble voice, it was much harder to get in. Okay. Now that we have 2 sessions, it's much more open. We have so many more positions to fill. So in that regard, do we take voice types into account? We get to take more voices in general. So that's nice. If you're talking about like voice type in the song you're singing, not really so much. We want to make sure that it's in a good key for you. A lot of the art songs that you would be singing for us, they comes in different keys. So if you are labeled a soprano or whatever, but the song you're singing feels better and sounds better in a lower key, sing it in the lower key. Likewise, if you're a bass at school, but the song you sing actually is maybe more like a baritone tenor kind of a range, sing it in that octave. Sing where your voice is happiest when it comes to the kind of songs that you're sending to us.
Great. Our next question, If there is a song we want to sing as a soprano that has other parts such as an alto, tenor, and bass, and they start off the piece before you do, should we continue to count their piece or go straight into where we come in?
That makes sense. And you're talking about the piece on you stay. So that sounds like one of the all-state audition pieces. If you wanted to submit you singing that alto or soprano line or whatever part you're singing, if you wanted to submit that, you could submit that. And you don't have to include the other voice parts. We just want to hear your little solo section by itself.
Great question. Awesome. Another question, will we have to be able to read music for the audition?
Not for the first one, not for the preliminary one. The second round, you could do for that one. But, I'm not supposed to say anything, but I'm going to say a little something. If you don't feel like you're an excellent sight reader, totally okay. I had zero sight reading experience when I auditioned. None. I bombed sight reading. Bombed it. Still got in. So I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, because it kind of does. It's a 3-week program. But don't let that deter you from auditioning. Please trust me. Please don't let that stop you. We can deal with that when we get there.
Awesome. All right. Any other questions? Again, use this while we're here. Oh, would you encourage someone who isn't in choir or a music program at their school but still loves to sing to apply for the program?
Absolutely. 100%. We encourage all types of people to apply, especially if you don't have a way to do it at school. Come do it with us for 3 weeks. It'll be a great time. You'll have a large time. Talk to somebody about the song you want to use, maybe, if we don't have a program or if we don't have a choir person. Just be a little bit more particular about who you ask about finding your audition song. But absolutely, yes, come sing for us. Yes.
That is one thing we were, promoting at GSA, that, just because, you just have a passion for this art form, apply, just see what happens. The magic is there. We see that in our applicants a lot. So any other questions? We've got a couple minutes left.
Good questions, y'all.
Yeah, great questions. This is excellent.
I wish I could see your faces.
I know, that's the only bad thing about this kind of webinar. Like,
that's okay. Hopefully I'll see them on video.
Yes, exactly. We will see those faces soon. All right. Well, I think that's about it. I'm going to stop the share real quick. Oh, wait. We got a chat. Oh, okay, great. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. It's been really, really wonderful getting to know everyone. Oh, can we see the applicant guide showed in this meeting? So the applicant guide is on our website. But Reese, I can, if you'd like, I'd be happy to send you the link if you want to send me a direct message within the chat. I can send you a direct link to it. Yes, wonderful. Awesome. All right, y'all. If that's yeah, great. I will do that, Reese. Just go ahead and send me that in the chat. But great. Well, thanks y'all so much for coming. It's been great to get to know everybody. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at gsainfo@kentuckyperformingarts.org with Kentucky spelled out. But yeah, I think that's it for today. So thanks, folks. Have a wonderful evening and happy first day of November. And we'll talk soon. All right. Bye, everyone.